Welcome back from the break. You're still watching Lifestories. Thank you for being a part of the show. Bodabodas, or what they call motorcycles in English, have increasingly become dangerous for road use or to road use here in Uganda. Dr. Beza Tito, head of orthopedics in Mulago Referral Hospital, gives us the doctor's side of the story next on the show. So doctor, how bad is the bodaboda accident situation?
Over, you can say now, 15 years, we have noticed a gradual rise in the number of accidents in this country. And the main contributing factor is the motorcycle public transport called bodabodas.
So, doctor, in case you're to give us some statistics, how many people, how many bodaboda accident victims are brought in on a daily basis, and when is the worst period?
Mulago, being the biggest hospital in the country, national referral and teaching hospital, receives the highest number of accident victims and also the other patients. So as of recent, we receive an average of 10 major fractures per day, forgetting the smaller minor fractures of the fingers or the forearm. And we admit an average of 5 patients. Others can be worked on as emergency casualty case and they go home, but we admit an average of 5 long bone fractures, either the femur, or what you call the thigh bone, or the tibias, the leg bones. And we also get those with injury to the spine, who are usually get paralyzed. And also another serious injury is if the pelvic bones are involved. Not forgetting, of course, the head injuries who are looked after by another department of neuro.
Doctor, comparing the patients, the income of the patients and the doctors, how easy is it for you to attend to them and to engage all of them?
We are definitely overwhelmed. We are overwhelmed in a sense that Mulago, we are lucky, we have about 10 orthopedic surgeons, and our number is also boosted by those we are training. We call the residents. We have about 30 in the program.
Dr. Beza, is the bodaboda accident rate a real issue from your point of view, because you're the receiving end?
The worst problem with bodaboda, they don't obey any law. The taxi driver, the bus driver, the lorry driver, the one who drives his car has gone through driving school. And he has known the laws and the regulations, and strictly is controlled by traffic police. But the bodabodas have never been and will never be controlled by traffic police. We keep left in Uganda, you'll find them riding on the right, you'll find them riding on the pavements, you'll find them riding in the walkways, you'll find them riding between cars, and it's unfortunate even yesterday or the other day was even cut and killed by a train with the passengers. So the fact that the bodabodas don't respect any authority, any law, they have no any training, they are many in numbers, they carry 3, 4, 5 people when they're not supposed to carry, and that causes a problem.
I'm looking at a situation where there's so many vulnerable people, there's so many patients and they're in terrible state, and the doctors are struggling, they're overwhelmed. How can society help this situation?
It's good enough we are drawing parallels. If we managed to bring down prevalence of HIV/AIDS in this country, we can also bring down incidence of accidents on our roads. Good enough, most of these drivers are mature people, they are not children. Most important, they are youth who have high expectations. If talked to, they can do something. Therefore, what can society do? We at the front line as doctors, we are sounding the alarm. And we are calling on any well-wisher, any Ugandan well-wisher. Let it be politicians, let it be church leaders, let it be media houses. Help us. We have that proposal, but we have no money to get it started. A proposal which says we should tackle this problem from the 4 aspects. Let us improve the treatment of the victims so that this boda young man broke the left leg. Let's treat him, stays in hospital a very short time, goes back to look for more money. Even if he breaks the right one, we shall also treat him. Improve the treatment. Collect data. So let's have all this data well collected. We analyze it. We write out good research, scientific papers to guide us in policy formulation and budgeting. Let's also increase the public awareness through media, television, print, or electronic, churches, verbal. Let's talk it at the fireplace. Let's talk it at the burial grounds. Let's talk about it in the wedding ceremonies. And then finally, let us also train. Let's train those who cause accidents. Let's train the bodabodas. Let's give them just 2-3 days. Let's give them a certificate. Let's show them videos to show what happens when they drive recklessly. Maybe they will change.
You're still watching Life Stories. We came across a bodaboda cyclist who we engaged about this issue, and this is what he had to say. Jabaleko mukama wange. Munange bodaboda kali sibu. Munange bodaboda nga zitumalawo. Ekizibu kiva kuki? What is the problem and what is the solution?
Ekizibu kiri nti some of the bodabodas are not properly trained. And another thing is some of them are very young to decide even on the road, to ride properly on the road. More especially when you reach at the roundabout, the bodaboda would always want to be the first. He doesn't think twice that, you know what, this is the guy who is supposed to be at least give a way to go ahead. For them, they just want to, most of them, they want just to rush and go very fast. That is you find someone riding, you look at him, he's very young, and you think that this person, is he trained or is not trained? And also another thing is other people also on driving on the road, more especially vehicles. People who are driving vehicles, sometimes there are others who are also learning. For him, when he gets some money, he goes to coin, or he does the bonds, he buys the vehicle. Then afterwards, when he comes on the road, he's not properly used in the vehicle. At times also they cause boda accident.
Afande, thank you for coming on the show today, and thank you for having us in your office. I just want to know, what is the problem? Why are there so many boda accidents?
Basically, there are 2 reasons. One is regulation, and 2, enforcement. Regulation. Who regulates the bodabodas in Kampala city? There is a law that regulates these bodabodas, but it is with KCCA, and this is Ordinance 6 of local government. It is there, and it gives powers to KCCA to gazette stages, give the riders uniform and identification labels such that they operate in an organized way. So we need, first of all, to regulate the operations of the bodabodas, and we also need to enforce the law without any kind of interference.
So Afande Niwabini, what must a passenger do to protect themselves in this situation?
On several occasions, for example, I have echoed that a passenger on a motorcycle must wear a crash helmet. We don't need to emphasize so much on the crash helmet of a passenger. You know it is your life. In case of an accident, you get head injuries, and there is a prevention. Why don't you put on a crash helmet and move on a motorcycle? You may not get this crash helmet on a motorcycle or find it on a motorcycle, but you can buy your own and keep it. I have identified some reasons why their behavior is unique. Some of these youth were street children, abandoned children in town here who were feeding on dustbins. And some of them are now big boys and they are riding motorcycles. These riders, 80% of them did not get formal education. They did not get formal education. Then another thing, another problem is criminals with a criminal mind buy motorcycles and hide in the bodaboda industry. So those young boys with a criminal mind, you add this group that grew up in the city as street children, and the illiteracy levels compound much of the problem in the bodaboda. So when you call them and you want to give a message, in whatever language that message will be, they don't take it serious. And this is why I want the stakeholders to come up and we design a better strategy such that the education can be located in the Ministry of Works and Transport. Strictly, the police enforces the law, and KCCA strictly follows the Ordinance 6, which empowers them to organize motorcycles in this city. That one should be the beginning point, and we regulate them. The issue of training for competency in riding may come later when we have organized them and when we know who is genuinely riding. That is what we need to do.
Spending months on a hospital bed with your limbs suspended or sitting immobile in a wheelchair with a damaged spine, unable to perform even the least of your body functions, is a fate you dare not even contemplate. Your life has come to an abrupt end. This brings to mind how flimsy our lives are, no more than the beautiful flower which blossoms with the rising sun, then shortly withers away. Elton John called it a candle in the wind. Yes, all it takes is a second for a life to end. Our precious life to be no more. As we move on our roads, let's take care of our lives and those of the people who are dear to others. It is hard finding superlatives in English to describe the chilling details of bodaboda accidents. These are our people transporting our people, but the recklessness involved has led to a lot of pain and loss. I will quote Dr. Tito Beyeza, who noted that these are no longer accidents, but foreseeable occurrences. Should we just raise a red flag and continue to watch this happen? No. The solution begins with you. Respect yourselves, traffic rules and other road users on the road. Authorities, please, try to be more organized or reorganize. Otherwise, in case you want to help anybody whose stories we've covered today on the show, reach out to them on the numbers below or come to NTV Kampala Serena Hotel. You can still catch the show on YouTube, Get more information about the show on its Twitter and Facebook pages. I'm Justine, your host. I'll see you next time. Take care on the road and stay well.